Not my personal experience, but my little brother. When he was about 5 or 6, he suddenly started talking to himself when he was playing in his room. Eventually, we asked him who it was he was talking to, thinking it was an imaginary friend. My stepdad didn't believe in ghosts and all that until he told us who he was talking to, Amanda. Amanda was my stepdad's cousin that died from cancer when she was only 12. The last place she was at other than the hospital was our old property. Another incident with Amanda happened while me and my brother were at school and my mom was at work. My stepdad was watching TV in the living room, and all the animals were in the room with him. He had just finished cleaning up my brother's toys and putting them in the box in the corner of his room. There was a loud clattering sound from my brother's room, and my stepdad went to check it. The box of toys was upside down in the middle of the room, all of the toys still in the box. The animals couldn't have possibly done it because they were all with him, and let's be real, they aren't capable of doing such a thing. He later on told us that's something only Amanda would do. I refuse to mention or talk about these experiences around him because it hits him hard. The way he described her, she was a sweet and childish girl that just wanted to have fun. I never had any encounters with her, but she was my brother's best friend. He eventually stopped seeing her, and he told us she didn't want to make Andy sad anymore, so she went away. I cry thinking about this, rip Amanda. In my old room when I'm completely still, and it's absolutely quiet, I would hear weeping like someone is crying. It was barely audible, and the source of the noise was the corner where my bed was. I thought it was my mom or someone else in the house, but I went outside and saw her asleep in the couch, watching TV with the volume low. It didn't make sense, but a year later I moved my bed to the other side of the room. I woke up one early morning, and I saw the side profile of a woman floating, an inch off the ground where the bed used to be. She hovered from left to right, and all I remember was seeing her in a white veil, like a wedding dress almost, and she had brown skin like she was African American. I saw her hands at her side, but I couldn't make out any features on her face, like she didn't have one or it was too blurry to see. She was only visible for about a little over a second, as she floated from left to right. She was slightly translucent, like if you set the opacity in Photoshop to 80%, and had a very mild glow to her, just so that she was slightly brighter than her surroundings. I always thought I would freak out or have the biggest fright of my life if I ever saw an actual entity, but when I saw whoever that was, I didn't feel any fear at all. It seemed natural, like she was just passing by and wanted nothing to do with me. I sensed no bad intentions. I lived in that house for over 17 years and only saw an entity like that once ever. I considered myself to be an atheist when I was younger, but that encounter has made me acknowledge that there's something out there that we may or may not have all the answers to. So a few weird events have happened in my house ever since a family member of mine, my cousin, passed away in 2013. My family genuinely thinks it's him messing with us, like he would when he was alive. Small things happen like doors closing or opening alone, stuff going missing and reappearing, loud man footsteps when no one else is home, and other truly inexplicable events anyway. We have a pool table in the living room, and I swear, I absolutely promise I heard the billiard balls move on their own, as if someone was playing. It was quick, only a second, and it was loud. We were all in the same room, the kitchen, eating dinner when we heard the noise from the pool table. I go to look, there's obviously no one in that room, and we all just kind of look at each other like, what the fuck just happened? I've never gotten such intense goosebumps. Someone, possibly my late cousin, was playing pool. Another time, I'd say a year or more ago, I was in my room with my best friend, and we're talking shit, doing our makeup, whatever. The door to my bathroom is slightly open. Sometime later, I see it a little less than slightly open, but still noticeably open. None of us had been to the bathroom in that time we were talking. So her and I start paying attention to it. Let me mention and keep in mind, this door has to be forced closed, physically shoved. It cannot slam close, and in all my years of living in this house, the AC has never pushed the door closed. The AC wasn't even on actually. Well, we're watching the door, and all of a sudden the door slammed shut. That shit closed all by itself in front of our faces. She screams, and we go to run out of the room. My best friend has been terrified of that bathroom ever since. This is definitely the type of thing my cousin would have done while he was still alive. He loved messing with us. I miss him. He was definitely more of a big brother to me than a cousin, but it's comforting to think he's still here in some way, watching over the family. I grew up in a house that was haunted by a child spirit. Being so young myself, I was very aware of it and had no concept of speculating about whether it was real or not. It was just a simple fact of reality that there was a little ghost in this house. There were knocks on the walls on the back porch. Small things would inch off of shelves and drop. Innocently, but definitely happened. My mother would see a small figure run down the hallway leading to her bedroom, and she'd say my name wondering why I wasn't asleep and then come to check on me to see me fast asleep. Orb caught frequently on disposable camera pictures, which our family was big on. Lots of disposable cameras in my childhood days. My most wowing incident was watching a Mary-Kate and Ashley VHS in my mom's room and the TV going static and getting annoyed. My big brother and I called the ghost Larry, and I yelled at Larry to stop messing with my movie, and it worked. I remember being kinda shook that I could talk to it, and it would hear me and respond, huh, one of my earliest memories. Later on learned that my mother asked our landlord if she knew about the paranormal activity at the house, and she had confirmed that a young boy fell from the second-story window to his death. Growing up with a ghost really set my path into adulthood. I am now a very curious, spiritual, mystical individual. I have experienced a lot of very odd things in my day. When you come into this world knowing undeniably that there's much more to life than most people are even comfortable considering, it definitely creates a fringe element of perspective and kinda leaves you wondering what else there is.